remember when you're gonna draft on these crazy tables with these tile lines, and I don't know if most of you are using a pair line or if you're using a T-square at home. I use a T-square, so I'm not great at these. Okay, what's the first thing you have to do?
Make sure it's straight.
Yeah, make sure it's straight, and I don't have a triangle, but I think I can get it pretty close. Okay, so it's straight. And then remember, here's the other trick. All your stuff goes up here. Because if your stuff isn't up here, every time you move this bar, you're knocking over all the stuff that's down here. Sorry if your hands get all messy. Okay, so don't be stingy with your corners here. And I'll repeat my little thing that nobody pays any attention to anymore, which is if you ever need to find the middle of something, you want to connect the four corners. So if you use those dots, you can't find the corners. And this one I ripped off, so it doesn't work anyway, but that's how you would find the very middle. If you really want the super center, I make a big mess.
I can't take the paper clip out, sorry.
This is really sealed here, so it doesn't get all over my purse. For those who missed, you can put a piece of tape over top of this so you don't get lead all over your bag. Okay, everybody good at sharpening this crazy thing now? Okay. We put it in there, we find the little hole, and you keep sharpening it until it doesn't make any noise. For heaven's sakes. Okay, very quiet now. Okay, so let's say I have a plan on here, and I want to do some lettering. According to the directions, if you guys have actually read the directions on this thing, you can line up the 10 with the little line at the bottom and use the ones in the middle. Oh, I have a really soft lead on here.
Oh, that's how you do that.
Right. And they all check YouTube.
Yeah, but I didn't get to
I
move
think
the
this
pen yet. I
doesn't-
kept on shifting this like an idiot.
No, you don't move anything but this little guy.
Now I feel stupid.
Well, that's why you're here, because you don't know how to do it. So what you would also do with this is, when you're going to make, they're a little bigger. Thank you. Oh, fast, very good. Okay, so this is a really soft lead, so it's not the greatest one to use for this, but you can. So anytime you're making a list, or pretty much anything, and there's a good chance, once you guys get the hang of this, that you're gonna be going over things in ink, which means probably the soft lead will be really messy, but you can erase a lot of these things. But it's technically not bad to be able to see your guidelines. These are all called guidelines, and nobody cares if you can see those when you make copies, when you make blueprints. It's okay if those are on there. So when you're, let's say you've got some kind of a building, and remember when you're doing the building, you're gonna do the outside of the building first, and then most of the time it's 6 inches and you're coming in 6 inches. This will be a quickie for those of you that missed this one. And everything can be done with a 45-degree triangle. You only have to measure once, and then all of them can go from the 45-degree triangle, and you never have to, oops, you never have to measure again. You just keep doing your 45-degree from the corner, and you have this all the way around. So when you are creating your little buildings and the walls, so now they should all be the same thickness, even though I did that really fast. But then when you go to ink, sort of like the pencil, you're going to ink, and the left-handed people pretty much do it the same way. You just don't want to smear it. You're going to do all your horizontal lines down the whole. Once you've got it all drawn, usually you'll draw it on trace, and then you go back, and if you're going to ink it, or even if you're just going to do a darker version of it, you're going to do all your horizontal lines, and then you're going to do all your vertical lines. Okay, so that's the middle one. if you wanna do any of the other ones, which is the one I usually use, because let's say I'm gonna say, maybe these are gonna be notes. And remember I said if you want to, you can do different sizes just based on how squished and spread out they are. Or you can say, I'm using,
I don't know what size the space is between the lines, 'cause when I use this, I use the line on the outside, so it has the inch marks on it, I didn't know, since the center looked metric, I didn't touch that.
well,
so
the
on
guy,
left.
the one in the middle, if you line up that one, these are all the same.
Okay.
Yeah, and I usually do it that way, but there, if you turn this to any of the other ones, and you know, you wanna hope that it, and you don't have to read all that stuff. I think the best thing to do is just kinda play with it. Like the one on the far end,
Well, there's 2 10s on this, on the center ring, on center circle, one in the top left and one at the bottom when you line them up.
yeah,
So
I
is
use
that how
the
the
one,
10s are supposed to line up?
that's what I do.
Okay.
But then if you wanna do, the different kinds of spacing, you really just can play with it, because as soon as you turn it, it's gonna change it. But, you know, there's no one way to do any of these things. So, try and see what you like, and see what's easy for you. You can try different leads, but if you turn this thing to, let's say this one says, and mine is so old, it doesn't hold very well. Mine's a little bit that one, let's see what happens. Then you try some of these, and if your pencil isn't sharp, it doesn't work.
And with YouTube, I was measuring out every single line. Right.
Yeah, it can really drive you crazy. Now, for your lettering for Julie, you could actually do this too if you want to, but I find it works best when you're doing a small thing. It sort of gets away from you sometimes on a bigger,
Well,
on a
what you
bigger
were
pull.
just demonstrating, if you'll do it again, Nancy, what Nancy's doing right now is the hardest part. It's keeping the pressure even on
My
it, so
point is-
it
my
doesn't,
point- I lost my point.
so you can draw it back and forth and make your lines
is the hardest
while
part.
keeping it
It
on
moves.
the T-square or the May line. And it's like learning how if you're right-handed, how you use your triangle to move it across while keeping it square on the T-square. And that
So the,
is really hard as
at
part.
the end of the day, the reason you're doing this is because if you aren't using the vellum or the tracing paper that's got the grid on it, the blue grid that you don't see, which means that you never have to draw lines, but it's very expensive. So for now, don't do it yet, and you have to learn how to do this. All your lines have to be straight. There's nothing worse than looking at a beautiful drawing and they didn't bother to use their guidelines for their lettering at the end. You know, they spent 20 hours doing this plan, and then they tried to letter, they thought they could do it in a straight line. Or maybe they only did the bottom line and they didn't do the top line. So it says, I'm not doing it right. Just one line would be impossible.
Or especially with your, and that's part of the lettering assignment this week, is to draw bigger lettering, half inch.
It's really hard.
And
if you don't have
bigger
both
it
lines.
gets, it's hard to keep that line straight.
So it's just another one of those little tricks and hints that if you learn how to do this, it can save you time. And we don't want you to spend 15 hours on your homework, and your client certainly doesn't want you to spend 15 hours drawing lines to put the labels on there. So anything that can help you make them look more professional and go a little bit faster, that's what we're trying to teach you how to do. And some people never use these. They would prefer to, to take the scale. And the other way to do it is, you just take your scale and use, boy, these are heavy, these. And you just would mark there. You have to mark them all.
That's what
I
I was
tell you, that's how you did them, I know.
But it's never straight. You always have to go on.
Well, you're trying to get them, right, they're never exactly the same. But at least they're close. And the other trick is though, but when you go to make those lines that you've done, the dots with these, this isn't sharp anymore, but you, remember, you put your pencil where you made the mark. You don't try to line this up. You put your pencil where you made the mark, and then you go across. So you put your pencil, pull the thing up, and
Thank
then
you. That was the
pencil.
tip I wanted to do.
This is one of the best
Yes.
ones, because if you try to go, oh, where is it? And your lamp is shining the wrong way, and there's a shadow on it, it just doesn't work.
You've
So-
got your reading glasses on, and you still
Or you
can't
don't.
see it, and, yes.
Right. So that works.
How do you
and
get
it
the
works-
difference with
works
the
this way, too.
spacing? You know, when you do the actual lettering block, it's of one dimension, and then the space between. How do you get that differentiation with this tool?
To do like the 1/8 inch
Yes.
in between.
Yeah, it's,
Isn't it the second one?
I think it's the second one. It's either this one, the one to the right, or the one to the left. This one has like a quarter, and then a smaller one, a quarter, and but then sometimes it doesn't, so. You wanna be, at the end of the day, people need to be able to read their lettering.
You can use these and do, okay,
Oh, okay, I
skip
see.
one.
Yeah.
And then, so go every second, but then the middle one, you know what I'm.
You just have to play with this thing. Just get a piece of paper and just try it all. And, you know, if you want to, you could try something underneath you write middle, whatever little hints are for you. So if you're trying to do vertical lines, again, then you marked them off. And I'm gonna try not to smear them, meaning I'm gonna go that way, I think. Let's see, yes. So you put your pencil on the dot, and then you go up. You put your pencil on the dot, and then you go up.
You guys all have these tables that go like this, 'cause you know as far as balancing that thing on the dining room
Yes.
table, and you're
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yes.
you feel all like, and then the thing moves, and.
The T-square?
Yeah.
Yeah.
T-square. I have a T-square.
It's
I know
hard.
what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, and that is, it's like learning how to ride the bike, that you've got to do multiple things all at once, and so all of a sudden it'll start to click in and you go, oh, I don't even think about that anymore. But this is the beginning, so it is, and it is a struggle, so we appreciate it.
What did you want me to try? This one? I think these are all the same distance apart.
Right,
And you know
so-
the problem with this one? This one tips, I think. I think I've tried to use this one sometimes. You might,
Yeah, it does.
this one tips. I don't like this one. See? It tips over. So go for the middle. It won't tip.
Again, there's a nice write-up in Read on
Oh, yeah.
page
Yeah, Reed
Yeah,
does
I
give you
did
some
read it.
hints.
I read it in.
38,
used it.
has a nice
Yeah.
write-up
Right, I
about
wanted
it.
to know what the
But
difference
seeing
is.
it makes
so-
it.
Right.
Yeah, this is one of those things.
That's what, you have to do it in person. And the other thing about, in Read, there's a nice hand position too,
Right.
and maybe
Right.
you could demonstrate that, Nancy, so
Okay.
that,
All right, and you can't hold it perfectly straight. You're supposed to hold it, oh my gosh, and I've seen kids hold their pencil practically like this. You're so smart. Okay, so you wanna hold your pencil. You guys didn't learn how to do cursive writing. It goes like this, and you're supposed to rotate with your thumb.
so
See,
you're
I'm
twisting it.
I'm twisting it so it stays sharp, because if you just keep doing it without moving it, you're gonna have a flat part, which might be nice when you're doing your lettering, but it's not great when you're trying to have, all your lines are supposed to be the same width. So they're not supposed to be fatter and skinnier, they're supposed to be the same all the way down. Now, when you use a pen, that you can keep them the same, and the pen sometimes has to be held up a little higher. But definitely practice rolling your pencil, and you can get it almost all the way around when you pull. And then you just, see?
Watch your pen. When you put your pens down, they'll often do an ink blot too. So you have to, you know, when you go back in to ink things, or, you know, just think about it before you put that down on the paper, because the Sharpie will go, all of a sudden it's, big
So
pool
a
of
pencil
ink.
makes a mess, but you can erase a pencil. So it's a good thing to learn with first. And clients have a habit of thinking when it's all inked that it's finished and they can't change anything. So they're more likely to give you helpful hints or make suggestions or ask for changes if they think that you're not like spending, you're not spending too much of their money redrawing something. They like to see it in like a preliminary state so they can make some changes. Everybody good? Anybody have questions? Thank you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just like a little short
Um,
demo. there.
We've got another quick in-class